how to not get nervous in exams. This is a big one because a lot of people get really nervous in exams. They get nervous about exams, and it basically means you're not going to be able to perform your best in the exam when you're nervous because you're like worrying about other things. Maybe you're literally like physically shaking and you're not going to be able to write with your pen, are you? In this video, I'm going to explain basically 2 ways how you can stop being nervous in your exams. So this first one's quite a long-term thing, so it's like this one only works if you've got like a year, maybe a couple of years before your real exam. And that is basically use mocks wisely, okay? Use mocks as if they are the real thing. So in my school, we had mocks every single year. So mocks in year 7, mocks in year 8, mocks in year 9, mocks in year 10, mocks in year 11, mocks in year 12, and mocks in year 13. How many of these did I revise for properly? Did I take seriously? And did I like actually try and do my best in? Every single one of them. So starting from the mocks in year 7, they were after, I can't even remember which half, they were probably after May half term. I spent the whole of May half term, like 10 hours a day or whatever, revising, okay? Sure, I got clowned on, right? When I told people like, oh, well, I revised all day, like 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, everyone was like clowning me, like, oh, why do you spend a whole week doing that, right? No one else tried, they got like low grades or whatever. It's year 7 mocks. I understand where they're coming from, like, because it's year 7 mocks, it doesn't affect anything, right? So they just like enjoy their May half term, doing whatever, and then they like end up getting lower grades, but like who cares because it's not the real exam. I get that, right? But here's the thing. Because I took mocks seriously every single year from year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, 11, 12, 13, I did my best in every single mocks I could. It meant by the time I got to my exams in year 13, wasn't nervous at all, right? Because I had done effectively real exams for what? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. For 7 years. I'd gone through 7 sets of exam weeks which I treated as the real thing. Okay? Say you're one of the people who you didn't try any of these mocks, you're just like, whatever, who cares, right? They're mocks, they're not real things. You get to the exam in year 13, your A-levels at the end, you are going to be nervous, okay? Because you've never been in a real exam before. Right? You've just been in some stupid exam your teacher made you, I don't care, I'm gonna, whatever, I'll look at the book like the night before, I end up getting 50%, whatever, who cares, right? So it means when you get to the real exam, this is the first time in your life you've been taking an exam and to you, the result has actually mattered. Of course you're gonna be nervous. Okay? With me, year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I've done all these mocks. By the time I get to the A-level mocks, A-level real exam, sorry, it's just rinse and repeat. It's just do exactly what I've already done. I've already know how to deal with an exam, how to do my best in exam, like what to do if there's a difficult question in exam, whatever, how to do this, how to revise properly, all of this sort of thing. I've done it 7 times. I have full trust in myself that I'm going to go into this A-level exam, year 13 exam, and I'm going to be absolutely fine. Okay, so that's thing number 1. If you like, this is if you're watching it like a year or 2, like in advance of your final exam, is basically every single opportunity you get from mocks, take it seriously, right? So if you're watching this in year 12 right now and you have like year 12 mocks coming up, take those seriously, treat those as a real exam. And then like in year 13, when you have year 13 mocks, treat those as a real exam, revise properly, do the mocks properly, do as best you can. And that means by the time you get to your year 13 final exams, you can be much more confident and much less nervous because you have that experience of actually trying in exams and like treating them as the real exams. You're going to find it's much better. Okay, so step number 2, and now this is actionable for everyone. This isn't like something you need loads of years in advance for. You probably only need like 1 week or something to do this. And it's basically doing all the past papers as if they're real exams. Okay, so you see like where the link is between these 2 steps. The first one is treat mocks as real exams, and the second one is treat practice papers as real exams. Because not getting nervous at anything is simply just practice. You've done it so many times. Like probably like first time you had like your driving, like a driving lesson, you were super nervous, right? And probably like when you ended up having your driving test, or if you haven't done it, like when you're driving test, people are usually like super nervous, right? But then like say you're 45 and you've been driving for 25, 27 years, right? You know what I mean? You think 45-year-olds like on the road, like nervous, like like they're stalling, they don't know what to do with the clutch. Do you think they're going to be nervous 25 years into driving? No, they're not. Like, you've seen your parents drive. What are they doing? Getting nervous every time they come to a give-way junction, or like there's a parked car and there's something coming opposite and they have to go into gear 1 and stop. They're getting nervous because they've just had to put the handbrake on and do the biting point or something. No, they're not, okay? Because they've had 25, 27, whatever years of practice of driving. It's the exact same with everything to do with exams, just do practice, okay? So first one is with mocks, just do those as practice. Real exam, by the time you get to the real exam, you're fine. Number 2, do practice papers in like the week before the exam and treat them as real exams, okay? What I see a lot of people doing is, and this is also just like a general revision strategy thing, is people use past papers to learn, okay? If you don't know what I mean by that, let me explain. So revision, there's 2 actual things you need to do. Maybe your school hasn't like taught you this or whatever, or maybe you haven't worked out yourself yet. There's 2 things you need to do for revision. Number 1 is like stage 1 is learn, and then stage 2 is just practice, okay? So learning is simply a case of learning everything that's needed for the exam. So every topic, maybe you have like 12 topics, learn every single thing from those 12 topics. Right, and then by the end of this stage 1, you actually know everything. You have all the information in your head. You know how to do every sort of calculation. You know every definition you need to know. You know every fact. You know every like statistic. You know every concept. You just know it all from stage 1, from learning it. You've gone through the textbook. You've done practice questions in the textbook. You've done practice question in the revision guide. You know everything. That's stage 1. Stage 2 is then simply a case of just practice. This is when you want to be doing past papers, okay? Because this is when you know everything. It's just a case of just practicing it, and you do all the practice papers. And this should just be a consolidation step, right? You shouldn't really be doing a past paper and then there's loads of stuff you don't know, right? Because if there's loads of stuff you don't know, it means you haven't done stage 1 properly. Okay? What I see a lot of people doing is they do past papers in stage 1, in the learning stage. So they'll say, right, I'm going to do some revision, I'm going to learn this topic, whatever, or they're just going to do some maths revision. Okay, so I'll get out a maths paper from 2018, right? And I see why people do this, because they've been told by teachers past papers are good. Like everyone says that past papers are good, do past papers, right? But like no one actually explains how to implement those past papers. I'm going to explain this right now. If you do a past paper in this learning stage, it's a waste of time. You only have like 6 past papers, like 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22. They're a limited resource. You don't want to waste them. If you do a past paper in this learning stage, it's a waste of time, because you're going to go through it, virtually every question you don't know. You like do the past paper. Oh, I don't know this question. Let me work out how to do it. Oh, this is how I do it. Okay, cool, fine, whatever, right? But it means by the time you've done this learning stage, you can have no past papers left to do, because you used all the past papers in the learning stage. And I think this is what can cause a lot of nerves, is because people may have learnt everything because they've been learning things, they've been doing past papers to learn, but then they never had this stage 2. They never had this practice stage, which means because of this lack of practice, they're super nervous for the exam, because they know all the information, but they haven't practiced it. They don't know if they know it, right? Here's what you do. Stage 1, you go through your textbook, your revision guide, your exercise book, you learn everything that needs to be learned. Okay, you use just those resources, online, whatever. Revision guide questions, textbook questions, do that. Then, once you reach the end of stage 1, you should know everything in the A-level you need to know. So, all of the equations, all of like every type of calculation you might need to do in maths, every type of question they can do. You know every like topic, you know every concept, you know every process, you can draw every diagram you need to do, right? You learn all of that. Then, stage 2 is simply a case of just doing practice papers, and do these as the real exam, okay? Do them in exam conditions and just go through them. What you're going to find is that you're basically going to be getting the grade you're going to get in the final one. Okay, so when I was doing these papers, I'd learned everything, every topic in maths that I needed to do, like, oh, I don't know what stats is, so I'd learn all stats, oh, what's this, learn it, fine, whatever. Then, come do practice papers, you're going to get the same grade you get in the real exam, right? So, when I was doing practice papers, I was able to get A star on all the maths practice papers that I was doing. And it basically meant I didn't have to be nervous when I went into the real exam. Because I know I've literally done the week before the exam, I've done the 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22 papers, and I got an A star in every single one. So that just means I come into the exam, I have it in me to get an A star. Right? Whereas people, if they don't do it like that, they don't do these exam conditions practice, they're going to go into the exam nervous because they're not going to know what they're going to get. They could be anywhere on the spectrum. I knew pretty well what I was going to get in terms of grades, because I'd done all the practice papers. Okay, all of maths I got an A star, physics I was like low A star, and then like whatever, right? And it meant I could go into the exam being fairly confident, right, I've done all these papers, I know I'm going to get this. Okay? That is step 2 for you, basically. Do all the practice papers as real things, real exam conditions exams, real exams, and it basically means it's going to give you the confidence that you're going to be able to get the grade in the exam. Right? Of course, if you do these practice papers and you haven't done stage 1 properly, you haven't learnt it properly, and like you end up getting C's or something and your aim is for A's, then of course like this isn't going to help because your practice papers haven't, like, there's no point. But if you've learnt it properly, number 1, and then number 2, you go on and do the practice papers, you're going to find that whatever grade like you've got from the learning, you're going to get in those practice papers, you're going to get in the exam. Okay, so those are the 2 methods to not be nervous in the exam. Number 1, just treat mocks seriously every single year you have the opportunity to, because it's basically going to build up that exam skill, that exam confidence. By the time you go into the real exam, you can know exactly how exam works, how to deal with dodgy questions, how to do this, whatever. Number 2 is learn all the things, like use this strategy, learn everything you need to learn, and then the week before the exam, just go through and do every single practice paper, and it basically means you've had 6 practice exams before the real exam. So maybe like you haven't had the opportunity to do this mocks one, like maybe like you do have your exam in like 2 months or something, you haven't done any mocks, whatever, fine. That's in the past, you can't do anything about that, right? But what I'm saying is, this is one you can do, this is an actionable one you can do, is whenever your exams are, the week before, go through and do every single past paper in exam conditions. Don't, like, if you do a question, don't like go on your laptop or in your textbook. Do it as if it's a real exam, mark it properly according to the mark scheme, and you're basically going to see what mark would I have got if this was a real exam. Okay, and it basically means before your exam, you're going to have like 6 practices, like specimen, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, whatever. You're going to have these practices, you're going to find yourself much better off in the exam. So I hope those tips have helped you. What you need to do now is take action on the steps I've mentioned today. So if you just watch this video and you don't do anything, you don't change anything, then you're probably still going to be nervous in the exam. However, if after watching this video and hearing these tips, you actually take action and you implement what I've said today, you're going to find that you're much less nervous in the exam. That's going to help you with your grade because you're going to be able to perform much better. Okay, so thanks for watching today's video and have a great rest of your day.